Welcome back to another edition of Freeze Dry Friday. Today I am going to be putting into the freeze dryer the leftovers from Easter dinner. Easter was about a week and a half ago, and we made a lot of ham. I had 4 hams in the freezer, and they weren't huge. They were about 6 pounds. So I cooked 2 of those, and obviously we had a lot left over. I'm trying to make room in my freezer because the garden is going to be coming together pretty quick here, and I'm going to need that room. So we had ham left over, and that is in 3 of these containers. And then I also did a pumpkin cheesecake, a keto pumpkin cheesecake, and that is in here. I have 2 different lids on my trays right now. So I have the lids that came from Harvest Right. These are a deeper lid. So they're probably about a ½ inch thick, which is nice. You can put food on your tray up to this tall, the inside of this lid. You won't have any problems getting your trays into the freeze dryer. And then I also have these stackable lids. These I got from freezedryingsupplies.com. I think his YouTube channel is retired at 30, I think. So these are much shallower lids, but the nice thing about these is they stack. These don't stack, they'll just slide, but these actually have grooves on the corners to kind of nestle and stack everything together. So let's take these off. This is just diced up ham, and I love the fact that I don't have to throw any leftovers away. Now, obviously, if I didn't have a freeze dryer, I probably would not have cooked 2 hams, but we didn't even eat half of 1 ham. So this is just a lot of leftovers. And they're just diced up pretty small. And then over here, I just have pieces of the pumpkin cheesecake, crust and all. The crust is a walnut butter monk fruit crust, and it's very, very good. So I am going to get these into the freeze dryer, and then when they come out, I'll show you how I reconstitute the ham and what I'm going to be using it for, as well as what I will be doing with the freeze-dried cheesecake. Here we are at the freeze dryer. It is ready. I let it go for 15 minutes to get it cooled down, so I can go ahead and load my trays. I'm going to start with the pumpkin cheesecake bites. I'm going to put those on the bottom here because I know my bottom shelf works better than my top shelf. I know that because of when I've done candy. The top shelf doesn't puff the candy, the bottom shelf does. This has nothing to do with the Harvest Right freeze dryer. This has to do with the fact that this thing has been through more than 1,000 loads of freeze-dried food, and I'm probably just ready to buy a new insert. And I believe that I can, let me get the ham in, I believe that I can upgrade to the Pro model insert in here, which will give me 5 trays, so more food per batch. So I'll probably do that. Here's a close-up look at the ham. You can see some darker spots. That's the collagen that was produced when I cooked it. I cooked it in the roasting oven, and there was a lot of good collagen in there. And I did save the bones from these, and I'll be doing some pork broth soon. So we got 2 trays, 3 trays of diced ham. These were pre-frozen. I was able to squeeze them into the freezer with the lids on. So I'm gonna guess on here about 30 hours, and we'll see. So all I have to do is close the door and then close the drain valve, and then press continue on the machine. Now it's going to go through the freezing cycle. That's not going to take long because these are already frozen. So I would say probably within 3 hours, this will move on to the next phase. So that's why I'm thinking it's going to be 30 hours or less, because these are smaller pieces and they're already frozen. But we shall see. I'll bring you back when they're done. 34 hours and 4 minutes later, and we have freeze-dried ham and pumpkin cheesecake. I already vented this and opened it up to double check and test the food and make sure it was thoroughly dry. So all I have to do now is take it out, get it into the kitchen, and we'll get this put away. And then I am gonna defrost the machine. There's not that much ice buildup. You can just see there's just a thin veil. It's about 1/4 of an inch. It's not bad. But the next batch I'm gonna do are grapes, freeze-dried grapes, and they're actually freeze-dried cotton candy grapes. So they're amazing. If you haven't tried grapes, I'm telling you, I don't even have any in storage, any in my pantry, because the minute people find out that I've done them, they come and steal them. So I'm gonna get another batch done of those next. And because those do have a lot of liquid in them, I wanna get the ice out of here. So I'm gonna take this into the kitchen. We're gonna get this bagged up or jarred up. I'm gonna show you how I rehydrate the ham. I'm gonna talk about what I'm gonna do with the cheesecake bites, and that'll be it. So let's move into the kitchen. All right, here we are. The first thing I am going to do is I'm gonna take a little ramekin cup and I'm gonna put 2 pieces of ham in there. Set that aside. Then I'm gonna take another ramekin cup and put a couple pieces of ham in there as well. And in here, I am gonna put in some warm, if not hot water. I heated this up in the kettle not long ago. And I am just covering the ham with this. With ham or other types of protein, things that you're not worried about getting to a specific consistency that has to do with moisture, all you need to do is rehydrate these. This ham is only going to take up as much liquid as it needs to fully rehydrate. It's not going to overhydrate. So you can cover it completely. You can add just a little and soak it up. It doesn't matter. You don't have to worry about how much water you add to this. I'm going to set this aside. My watch says that it's 8:07 p.m. right now, so we'll see how long this takes to fully rehydrate. For the pumpkin cheesecake bites, I'm gonna put them in this 1/2-gallon jar. And these will just be, and they're fully dry, these will just be little snacks or treats as we want them throughout the year. They're, not a big piece, not a serving, just a couple bites each. And they can be eaten just like this, or you can crumble them up. So again, they're dry, they're powdery. So you can crumble this up and you can use this in your baking. You can use this as a topping on something else, or you can eat it just as a bite of food. These are absolutely delicious. I've done cheesecake before and it comes out beautifully. I've also done cake. Oh, those come out like a cookie, like a hard, like a Oreo cookie, like the outer cookie part. I don't eat a lot of cookies. So I don't have a lot of references to go by, but it comes out really crunchy, but really super concentrated in flavor. That's one of the amazing things about freeze-dried food is you take out that moisture and it really concentrates the flavor. I'm sure these are going to be just as flavorful. I'm going to take a tiny little piece. There really aren't even any words. This is delicious. It's absolutely amazing. I'm going to smush them in here so I don't have to use 2 jars for this one piece. So we're going to smush. And then I'm just going to put a lid on that and I will label this with a Sharpie. As I do, I will just name this pumpkin cheesecake bites. And those will just sit on my shelf for up to a year, probably longer. I won't put an oxygen absorber in here because it's not going to be getting opened and closed a lot. And even if it does, it'll only be for a second. These are not going to go bad. They don't need an oxygen absorber in my own personal experience. For the ham, I'm going to put some in I'm going to put some in a quart-sized mason jar. I'm laughing because I couldn't think of the word. I have trouble sometimes with words. I've mentioned a couple times now that I have had 3 hip replacements. I had my first one in 2005. That was on the right side. My second one in 2010, that was on the left side. And then in 2013, I had to have the first one replaced because I had metal poisoning. It was a huge big deal. I almost lost my leg. I was almost out on permanent disability for the rest of my life. It was a very, very slow, arduous, challenging comeback, but I came back. But in any case, that metal poisoning did lead to breast cancer twice, had a lot of surgeries because of that, but it also led to some not cognitive issues, memory issues. So sometimes I do struggle to find the words, and I know it's noticeable in videos, so bear with me on that. Have some grace for me. I would appreciate it. Okay, so for the ham, I am just going to load this in, and you can hear it. It is dry, dry, dry. And I'm kind of kicking myself because this collagen, I thought I would be able to kind of remove it and put it in with the, I guess I can. I want those really dark pieces of collagen for my pork broth when I make that. So I'm just going to set those aside. I don't think we need it in the actual pork bites, ham bites. I'd rather have it in the broth. But I haven't done collagen with meat before in here, so you live and you learn. All right, so what can we use this ham for? Well, a lot of things. Number one, you can use it to take camping with you. You don't have to bring meat that needs to be refrigerated. You can take fully freeze-dried food in a bag, and it just takes up so much less space. It's also super light. So you can take it camping, you can take it hiking, you can take it backpacking, or you can rehydrate it, just as we're doing in the ramekin bowl right now. You can rehydrate this and use it in eggs, omelets, stir fry, soups, stews, anywhere you would use, diced up ham. It's going to be delicious. And this was cooked on Easter in a bourbon cherry glaze that I made from scratch, and it was absolutely delicious. So I'm sure this is going to taste absolutely delicious, and we're going to give it a try here in a little bit. So this one's done. I'm not going to put an oxygen absorber in this one either. I will just write on here with a Sharpie that it is diced ham with the date, and then it'll just go in my cupboard. And this was what we will pull from until it's gone. The rest of these, I'm gonna put into some bags. These are quart-size bags. I really should just grab my little bench scraper. I'll probably get 3 or 4 bags of these, and this will just be for later. This will be shelf stable for probably 15 to 20 years. There is some fat content in here, but there really isn't a lot. Most of the fat was cooked off. So I will put an oxygen absorber in. Those bags before I seal them up. That's 2 trays down. There is a little bit of collagen on this one that I want to pull off and put in the jar. But note to self, and if you ever get collagen, if you cook things down in a roaster oven or an Instapot and you end up with collagen, do those separate. Save those for making broth. Okay, that's 2 bags. And one of the reasons I do this, and I have mentioned this on other videos, but I am turning 54 next month. So retirement is not out of my sight range on the horizon view. And I watch the price of food go up, especially if it's quality food. This was pork that I sourced as a whole hog from a local farmer who uses natural practices to raise their beef and their pork. So it is pasture raised, very healthy meat, and I can afford it right now. I can't remember, I said it in the video that I posted about buying in bulk, but it was definitely less than $5 per pound. I think it was closer in the range to $4 per pound for an entire hog. So I got, bacon, sausage, all your different cuts of meat from the pig, and then of course the hams as well, and the ham hocks, which I'm going to use the ham hocks and the bones from the hams to do the pork broth here in the near future. So I'm thinking about retirement with all of this. And so this is my savings account. This is what I'm putting aside for use right now. And this is what I'm putting aside for use in my future. I don't even want to guess what food prices are going to look like in 20 years from now, but I'll be eating food at today's prices in 20 years from now. And just that alone makes the cost of the freeze dryer totally worth it. So it's, a $3,000, $3,500 investment today, but I'm going to be saving 10 times that 20 years from now by having all of this food available to me. And it's high quality food. And who knows what our food is going to look like 20 years from now with just all the pesticides, all the GMOs. So I am stocking it up now. Okay, I think I can fit a little bit more in this bag. All right, let me get these trays out of the way. I'll bring you down. We'll get everything sealed up, and we're going to try that ham. For the quart size bags, I am going to use this medium oxygen absorber. I think it is a 200 or a 300 cc oxygen absorber. And I'm going to put one of those into each of these bags. There's 5 bags total. Cover this back up so they stay usable. This is what it looks like inside the bag. I'm just going to seal that up. Smush out any extra oxygen I can, and then I'm going to seal this. So this now has a heat seal across the top as a backup to this zipper seal. And I sealed it above the side notches that you can use to tear the bag open. So I am just going to write on here that this is freeze-dried or FD diced ham. 4 of 24. And this is ready to go into my long-term storage. Now that those are all packaged up, let's bring back the ramekins. So I have one with a couple pieces in it that are dry, and I have one with pieces in it that are wet, and it has been about 18 minutes. So first, let's take a look at the dry. It's very light. It'll definitely crumble if I push down on it too hard. Very dry, obviously. I need some water. That is very dry, as it should be. But it is very, very flavorful. So it definitely has the concentrated ham flavor in here. It's delicious. I could probably even powder this down and add it as a sprinkle over pasta or anything that you wanted some salty ham flavored something on. All right, let's take a look at these that have been soaking in warm water. These look totally done. They are very soft. Oh, that's really good ham. Really good ham. I'm gonna have to do that recipe again and share it. That was amazing. So probably 20 minutes. You can stick what you can even just, if you're going to use a lot of ham, you can even just fill this bag up with water. Could be hot, doesn't have to be, and seal this and just let it sit for 20 minutes, and you have a bag filled with diced ham ready to use. Or you can pour out a portion of however much you want to use and then just put it into a bowl, put some water in it, and let it absorb. 20 minutes later, you have ham that feels and tastes like it was just made. Really good, really good. Thank you for joining me here at A Better Choice Homestead. My name is Kelly. I hope that I have inspired you to try putting something into a freeze dryer, or maybe even to consider getting a freeze dryer to start putting away food that you can either grow or source, especially locally, organically, yourself today, to put up for later. It's a savings account. It's security. It's, it goes towards my drive for self-reliance and sustainability. Again, thank you for joining, and I do hope that you come back and visit again.